Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to watch football, not get married. What are we doing here?
I've gotten a lot of baby powder. People are like, man, what'd you get out of baby powder for? I think I'm going to have to smack the hell out of a lot of people this year. I just can feel it.
Hold on. The only thing you should be getting married to in the fall is football.
Man, let's go. It is no weddings in the fall. It is me and Ben tonight as of right now. The commish might pop in a little bit later. But, let's get the introductions going. And who other than the second round pick himself, Ben Troupe. How you doing, Ben?
Man, Justin, always good to be on with you, man. I mean, we always love to have a commission on, but the show must go on, and we're going to make it do what we always do.
That's it. You've been seeing a lot of me and Ben. So, we like to pull the show along, too. We're good with this. We always love with commish when the commission's in the house. Commish knows how to set the show straight. But Justin and Ben, we know how to get it jabbing about football. That's for sure.
Right.
Ben, I bet you. Did you know that I was going to pull out that second round pick thing? You know that I'm always doing some research, bro.
I'll take the love, man. Been a long time, but I appreciate old Paul Tagliabue. I mean, may he rest in peace. I know he died recently. That he was a commissioner when I got drafted, but man, many moons ago, man. They took a country boy out of Swainsboro, GA, out of the University of Florida, maybe second round pick. I appreciate the opportunity back then and now. Make me talk a little trash, but no, man, it was a fun time, man. To all those players that don't get drafted or had to go free agent, man, I respect everybody, Justin. I don't care if you got drafted. To show you how crazy my draft was, even though I was part of the Eli Manning draft. Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Wes Welker, went undrafted in 2004. He didn't get drafted. So you look at a player, what he became, they didn't really see it coming out of college. But yeah, man, that 2004. I also had Larry Fitzgerald, Jared Allen. You had some names coming out of that draft, man. Michael Bernard Turner used to be the backup to LaDainian Tomlinson. D'Angelo Hall, that played out of Virginia Tech. Man, we had some players, man. 2004 was a fun draft. I got a chance to meet all those dudes out at the Ricky Premier out there in California. Met a bunch of them. Met Ben Washington, Kellen Winslow, and Kevin Jones, and Chris Perry out of Michigan. It was some players, and I'm just happy to say I was a part of that 2004 class. Larry Fitzgerald will be a Hall of Famer. Eli Manning going to be a Hall of Famer. Ben Roethlisberger will be a Hall of Famer. I think Phillip Rivers going to be a Hall of Famer. I could be wrong. I think he'll be a Hall of Famer. But right now, the only guy in 2004 that's been in the Hall of Fame is Jared Allen, defensive end. Like he was nice. I mean, never won no Super Bowls. Played for Chicago, Kansas City. I think he even played for Carolina. Bad boy.
Nastiest mullet too. I mean, dude wore 69.
He kept mullets alive for like 16 years. but he's also like a cowboy, you know what I'm saying? Like he ride horses and I think the people in the Olympics, like they be on the ice and they look like they be like cleaning the ice with a big gigantic puck in front of them. He did that.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys. I think Vernon Davis
Really?
did it. And yeah, man, it's weird. You just sitting there holding the stands. People just, they doing like the quicker picker up. Man, that's crazy. I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna be Olympian. Yeah, he did that. He did. And who's gonna say something?
My boy Vernon Davis was in the underground curling league of the NFL.
Yeah, Vernon Davis, Keith Bullock that I played with the Titans. I think he was one. I mean, it's a chance to be an Olympian, man. I mean, I want to be a curler. What is that? You got to have a real strong wrist. So yeah, it is what it is. Shout out to him. Represent America as a quicker picker upper or whatever you're doing as a sweeper. I don't know. Who am I to judge?
And shout out to that rest of that class. It's funny that you mentioned that. I was literally just listening to you. Listen to Bussin' with the Boys.
Yeah.
So they had Robert Gallery on. And Robert Gallery was the number 2 in that one.
Yeah. Robert Gallery out of Iowa got a chance to play against him in the bowl game, both our senior year down there in Tampa. Bob Sanders, defensive player of the year out of Iowa. I mean, that 2004 class had some gems in it, man. It really did. But it was a long time ago. I enjoyed it from the entire process, from pre-draft process, the draft, the combine, the pro day. The fourth overall. I'm sorry. The fifth overall pick in that draft was the one and only Sean Taylor. May he rest in peace. Sean Taylor was the fifth overall pick to the Washington Redskins. It was some players, man. There was some dudes in that draft, and just looking back on it, Vince Wilfork was in that draft. There was some guys, man. Like I said, I enjoyed meeting a lot of those dudes, and hey, man, it's like a whirlwind when I look back on it. But to know you was one of the ones that heard your name called, Mel Kiper was still getting it wrong way back then too. He gets it wrong now. He was getting wrong. So he has his tradition too. But no, it was that was the Eli Manning draft. That draft was headlined by Eli Manning going number one overall, saying before the draft he would not play for San Diego at the time. And then the Giants had the fourth overall pick. They drafted Phillip Rivers, and they just traded. So that's how Eli ended up in New York, and that's how Phillip Rivers ended up in San Diego. And it seemed to have worked out for both of them. Even though Phillip Rivers never made it to a Super Bowl, he put up some big time numbers. And obviously Eli Manning won 2 Super Dupers. And I think Ben Roethlisberger was either the 10th or 11th overall pick. He went to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 Super Bowls. So yeah, man, we had some players in that draft, man, no doubt.
Yeah, that was a really awesome draft. And speaking of awesome drafts, we're gonna have an awesome draft coming up this season. But that just leads right into what we're going to be starting to talk about. We just saw some really great college football, and we're going to see our weekend rewind.
Don't worry, Ben. No weddings here. Oh. I just want to know what college game to watch this week.
That's how you know the commission ain't in the building, when I'm missing the wrong video. But anyways, we'll roll with it. It's our weekend rewind. So we're going to be talking about the games that we were talking about last week on what we were watching. Let's start off with the big one. It was Oklahoma, Alabama. And you were literally just talking about your experience in the draft. Tell me, is there anybody right now you want to draft over a young man named John Mateer out of Oklahoma as far as quarterback goes?
It's going to be hard. I mean, he's very, very, very consistent. And that's what you wanted the quarterback was. Let me say this about every quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Mateer, whether it's, Norris, Norris up there with South Carolina. You talk about Coupling. You talk about Nussmeier. You talk about Dante out there, at Oregon. Every last one of these quarterbacks are going to be a project. Every last one of them. The guys is going to have the best shot to succeed and thrive. It depends on the system they go to. It's all about the system. If you don't believe me, when the last time Cleveland had a good quarterback? I mean, you can go through it. When the last time the Jets had a good quarterback? And I think the thing is, and I think the thing about these guys is, but the programs you come from, how you able to process information and apply that information, because they're going to throw a lot at you. But Oklahoma did what nobody thought they would do. They beat Alabama 2 years in a row. Beat them last year, beat them this year. And the thing about it is, I like Ty Simpson. I do. I mean, 28 to 42, 326 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And I like, but you got to show up in the big ones. I know they was able to avenge the loss from last year to Vanderbilt. They beat Georgia 2 years in a row, but you lose to Oklahoma, Coach Venables 2 years in a row. And but it was a good game. It was a really, really good game. I think what scared Alabama was this: they just couldn't pull away. And when a team like Oklahoma, who's good enough to beat anybody on their schedule, they they get their respect from beating a team like Alabama. I mean, Oklahoma and Alabama have very, very similar traditions. I think Alabama has kind of like, distanced itself from not just Oklahoma, but a lot of teams, not just in the SEC, but in the country. But for one Saturday afternoon at Alabama, Oklahoma was like, listen, man, walked in your trap and took your trap. Walked in and took it. And you don't got to like it. And if you are Coach DeBoer, you want to know why the Alabama faithful don't really believe in you, because one, you lost to Alabama last year, I lost to Vanderbilt last year, but you beat them this year. You beat Georgia last year and beat them this year. You lost to Oklahoma last year. You lost to them this year. Is Oklahoma going to the college football playoff? Probably not. Alabama still got a shot to get in because it's their first SEC loss. But that was very impressive by Oklahoma. It was, and man, when your quarterback is if not better or better than the other quarterback, you got a shot to win. And I think that both of these guys are going to be looking, both Mateer, and Simpson going to be looking to be guys that's going to be hoping to hear their name called. But for one Saturday afternoon, them boys from Oklahoma, they walked out with the dub, and it had a lot to do with the quarterback play.
Yeah, and you look at Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's been so up and down this year. As their record is obviously very impressive, but I mean up and down in the sense that you lose to Texas, you lose to Ole Miss, but then you beat the team that is beating these teams, and you just go, it's the head scratch. You go, it's like the boxer triangle, it's like the boxer pyramid. It's like I can beat this guy style, but this guy I can't beat him, and it's just like like. When you just, like you were saying, when are you going to be consistent and just like when is one team just going to emerge? It was a super interesting game for me because I was very impressed with Ty Simpson. I thought the interception kind of bit him in the ass. Obviously, bit Alabama in the ass in the end. But John Mateer, he kept it real simple. Only got his lone score on the ground. But he kept it simple, and he led drives, and he showed what you want at the next level. The simple stuff, right? Keeping drives alive. So I really saw this game as, to me, like I said, a head scratcher because Oklahoma really is good, but like it seems you need it to translate to the other teams.
Yeah.
And I think they will be in the playoffs, but for me, this playoff is going to be so wide open. Like, I don't know who to trust.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man, shout out to Coach Venables. I mean, former defensive coordinator for Clemson, and now went over to Oklahoma and finding a way to get it done. This time last year, everybody was like, well, is he built to be the head coach of Oklahoma? Like, yeah, he's proven it. Beating Alabama 2 years in a row is a pretty good resume booster. So for 2 years, he was like, look, we've underwhelmed, but we've shown up against some boys, from Tuscaloosa 2 years in a row, and we did it at their spot. I don't want to hear that. Oh, it's because they don't know. We went to Tuscaloosa, walked away with the dub. Very impressed. Very impressed.
Indeed, it was. Let's get down to Georgia. Georgia Bulldogs, man, they put a licking on Texas, man. Gunnar Stockton. We're talking about quarterbacks. This man is the real deal, Gunnar Stockton. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception on the day. Texas, Arch Manning, once again, just having one of those games where he just does not look like he's built for the moment quite yet. Just give me your quick synopsis on what you saw in this game.
Efficiency. I mean, you mentioned Gunnar Stockton. I mean, 24, 29, 229 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. That means that it's not about how many yards I have, it's how many touchdowns I have. I mean, I had 24, 20. That's about as efficient as it get. And Georgia's going to be a team to where if they get a lead on you, it's going to be hard to catch them. And they at home against a team like Texas, who everybody knows that while Texas is going to have the horses, they got to be able to take the boys out the stable. They got to be able to go out there and do something. Steve Sarkisian, I mean, he's mismanaging things. Arch Manning, you talk about up and down. I mean, 27 to 43, 251 yards. You threw the ball 43 times. That means that your running game wasn't there. You know what that means? If you are one-dimensional against Georgia, that means you cannot beat them. If your running game can't help you, that means that the DBs are saying, look, we know what you guys are trying to do. You got good receivers, not great receivers. And Emmanuel Acho, I know you from Dallas. I know you went to Texas, and I know you saying it ain't the talent level. Yes, the hell it is, too. Oh, yes, it was on Saturday, because If it's not the talent level, then what you gonna call it? Was it the scheme? Yep. Was it getting outclassed? Yep. Was it getting out coached? Yep. Anything all checks on the Georgia side, all mine is at 35-10 is a beatdown, sir. I don't care how you look at it. It could have got worse than that. But at a certain point, Georgia just realized Texas, we beat them last year in the SEC championship game, but we beat them at home this year. Texas is a team on the rise. They just ain't on the level of Georgia right now. Shout out to Gunnar Stockton, man, who's finding a way to keep things afloat when everybody thought that because of what happened, with a former quarterback who will go unnamed, who's down there in Miami. They thought they were going to fall off the cliff. But they didn't. Gunnar Stockton's keeping it afloat. They was able to bounce back real nice from that loss against Alabama. And dare I say, they headed again to the SEC championship game to play potentially Texas A&M, Texas A&M is undefeated right now, but we'll see if they step on a neutral field with the boys match.
Yeah, big shout out to Gunnar Stockton. Man, when you go to from being the backup, and I believe he's a senior, if I'm correct, maybe a junior. But when you go from being the backup and to the guy, and it's just like everybody's kind of like, yeah, who is this guy? You know what I mean? He didn't really have that big of a name. But when you end up doing that and you end up looking damn near as good, if not better than the other guy, and the team is not missing a beat without you or without the other guy, you're doing a good job, man. And, big shout out to him. He's going to be a guy who's going to get drafted this year as well. He's going to be in that conversation with Mateer. He's going to be in that conversation with Beck and Norris and all those guys, Mendoza. He's a good quarterback, and he's a really, like you said, he's efficient, but he has the new age mobility as well. He's a good mobile quarterback, so he fits the mold. Were you a Georgia Bulldog fan growing up?
I was not. I was not. I wasn't. I'm aware of Georgia, but I wasn't a lot of times because of where I grew up. You are aware of Georgia, but I wasn't a big diehard college football fan at all. It wasn't like I understood certain teams. Obviously, Georgia is the biggest brand in the state, but I knew about the Falcons. I knew about Georgia. I knew about Herschel Walker. He's but I respect everything Georgia does. Once I started playing football, started getting looks in high school, obviously I got heavily recruited by Georgia. And, the biggest misconception about players is they'll say, "Oh, you picked this team over that team." No, I picked a team. If I'm getting scholarships from Florida, Georgia, Clemson, South Carolina, UAB, all these teams, North Carolina State, I couldn't pick wrong. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people this, man. If I went to a Mercedes dealership and they told me pick one, what? Pick one. Do you want a black one? Do you want a silver one? Do you want a white one? Do you want a blue one? And the good part about me going to Florida was I still get to play Georgia. I still get to play South Carolina. I still get to play these teams that I grew up, not grew up watching, but I kind of came familiar with them when I started getting recruited. But no, man, Georgia has always been a big time program, with big time talent. Kirby Smart, man, they don't lose a lot now. They might lose 1 or 2 a year, if that. But everybody think it's easy to play Georgia till you got to play them. Texas got beat down. And anytime guys like former Texas players like Vince Young, Bo Scaife, or Emmanuel Acho, or Michael Griffith, or Brian Arakpo, and all those dudes, you only make it worse. I don't need to break down film. I just saw the game. Yeah, well, if you look at this play, don't care. Don't care. One guy had 4 touchdown passes and 1 pick. The other guy had 1 touchdown pass and a pick, and they got beat down. So, hey, it happens. Georgia gonna make most teams look like that. So don't feel bad, Texas.
Heck yeah. Now let's spin it. You were talking about Florida. Our last game is Ole Miss beating Florida. I don't know why Commissioner threw this one in there. I think maybe it was just because it is Florida. But Florida's kind of been slipping a little bit. Obviously all the hype is around the new coach search for Florida and LSU. How'd you feel about your Gators in this game? And Kawan Lacey, God damn, he's got 1 more year. He can't come in because he's a sophomore, but God damn, that's a name you want to hold on to for next year because he might be a big-time NFL prospect going into next year.
Yeah. I will say this. If you look at this 34-24, when you're giving up 224, yards rushing and 3 touchdowns to one guy, it just lets you know that if Florida's defense played halfway decent, I'm not saying they're gonna beat Ole Miss, but they got a shot. Was that a pass interference on the last drive, game-winning drive? Yeah, it was a pass interference. But when you're a good team, you get calls, and when you're a bad team, you don't. Florida's a bad team right now. You're not gonna get that call. Ole Miss is on the road. But I will say I appreciate the fight in Florida, because when you got a team that's already fired your coach, Coach Gonzalez, I know he's the interim coach right now. You don't want to lay down. You still want to go out there and play good football. It was a good game, and it was a 4-quarter game. Shout out to Ole Miss getting it done. I know Lane Kiffin is atop the Florida list right now, and we'll see what happens with that. I will say this about the coaching search, apart from the game. If Lane Kiffin wants to do, incredible things, he stays at Ole Miss. If he wants to become a legend and he's willing to chase it, he go to Florida. Because nothing against Ole Miss. I respect Ole Miss just like I respect Mississippi State and Vanderbilt, right? Just like I respect Mizzou, right? Just like I respect all these teams. Ole Miss tradition and Florida tradition don't even compare. Since 2000, right? Since 2000, all right? That's 25 years. We're going to talk about the quarterbacks in Ole Miss. We're gonna give you Florida quarterbacks that's been in the SEC championship game. We talk about Rex Gross. We talk about Kyle Trask, right? We talk about Tim Tebow. We talk about Chris Lee, right? These are just quarterbacks that have been in the SEC championship game for Florida. All right. Now I'm gonna give you the list from Ole Miss quarterbacks, and that's it. So if you wanna talk about legacy, Ole Miss has a legacy. I give it to you. Archie Manning, Eli Manning. That's it. And I like Patrick Willis. So I'm not saying that he can't become an incredible coach at Ole Miss. When's the last time Ole Miss went to an SEC championship game? They don't. When's the last time they won the national championship? They don't. And it doesn't mean they don't got good players and good teams and good schemes. But remember Justin, you said when it comes to teams like Oklahoma, you don't really trust them. When it comes to teams like Alabama, you don't really know. Ole Miss is in that. I don't know how good they really are. And they good. They good. But Texas just lost to Georgia. Florida beat Texas. They shouldn't have beat them, but they beat them. So we'll see. But I just think that a place like Florida, it's different because you can't just pick anybody to fill that type of slot. Florida's still the biggest brand in the state. Take nothing away from Florida State, Miami, taking it away from the Hurricanes. Taking it away from the Dolphins, the Bucks, or the Jags. They ain't Florida. And we'll see, but hey man, if he won't smoke, he'll come to get Gville. If he won't comfort, he'll stay in Ole Miss.
So it's always weird to me because it's like growing up, I was a USC fan, right? Then once the whole Pete Carroll thing came about, it degraded the value of the brand itself. And I feel like just going through the years, Florida's kind of seen that degraded value because of the fact that they haven't been, the Florida that we saw before, right? We're not seeing the Tebows freaking running over people and winning national titles. So it's kind of like it's always one of those interesting things to see the coach carousel and where it's going to land. Because now we got guys like Marcus Freeman being considered for NFL status after this. We know Lane's not going back to the NFL because I don't think anybody in the NFL really wants Lane, to be honest. He kind of seems like more like an Urban Meyer type of guy where he's really meant for college and not meant for the big one.
And I was on that Raiders team. When Lane Kiffin was the head coach, I was on that Raiders team when he was the head coach. And certain coaches are built for certain arenas and environments. And I think that Lane Kiffin is built because in college, my voice means more. Because even though we in the NIL transfer portal era, what the head coach says goes. In the NFL, man, I might be better at what I do as a player than what you're doing as a head coach. And I respect your position, but that don't mean I respect you. Respecting a person's position don't mean you respect them. And as a head coach, you need them to do both. I need to respect you as a head coach. I need to respect your position. And I need to respect you as a man. And in the NFL, it ain't like that. And I saw that firsthand with Lane Kiffin. I'm not saying it was right how the players was treating him. It definitely wasn't right how Al Davis treated him. But Justin, you know this. Just because you got hired for something don't mean you built for it. You just got hired for it. That don't mean it's a bunch of coaches, right? Black, white, Hispanic. Some of them good and some of them not. And if you're not good, we will see it. And it's nothing wrong with not being good, but you need to stand in that now. Don't, because we measure football on wins and winning it all, not winning a bunch of games and going to bowl games. No. Have you ever won it right now in college football? There is only 3 active coaches that have national championships. Brian Day, Dabo Swinney, and Kirby Smart, and that's the list. That's it. So that's how hard it is to do it. That's how prestigious it is to do it. That's how rare it is to do it. I'm not saying a coach like Lane Kiffin and all these type of guys can't do it, but he's been in Ole Miss a little while now. And at a certain point, either they figured you out or you figured out it's not going to happen, man. I'm going to play in some real good games. I'm going to have some real good moments. But as far as being the last team standing, he's never been there. He got to go down. He ain't never been to Atlanta yet. He's never been to the SEC championship game. And I'm not saying that's the barometer because you can still get in without. But if he goes to the college football playoff and he gets put out, are we going to remember who got put out? That's like the NFL playoffs. I couldn't tell you who lost. I could tell you who won. It's hard enough to remember who won the Super Bowl, let alone who they beat. So we'll see what happens. He's an incredible coach. I'm not taking away what his pedigree, but it's got to at a certain point, people gonna ask you, okay, did you win it all? No. Oh, but you won the SEC championship game? No. What'd you do? I went to the college football playoff. Okay. Well, there's a bunch of teams in college basketball that make it to the Final Four. Yeah, but did you win it? No. See what I'm saying? So I think that, and he's in that realm of coaches to where they're looking at him like that. Not he's a good coach. You want to be great. You want to be great. Win conference championships. You want to be legendary. Win it all. Because legends, they win it all because they put you in it because it's so hard to do. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, this competitive cycle, because, weirder shit has happened. Bill Belichick has come back to coach, so maybe Nick Saban decides he's done with Pat McAfee and he wants to come back to coach. It's definitely going to be an interesting cycle going on here. And I think you nailed it with what you were saying. Like, you have to win these big games to be considered that next level of coach, to where like people just don't question what you're doing anymore. Nick Saban doesn't get questioned because guess what? Nick Saban's won how many national titles at this point?
I think he won 7. It's like Kyle Shanahan. You a 49ers fan, you like Kyle Shanahan. The thing about Kyle Shanahan is what, man? Oh, man, great play caller, yet can't win the big one. Great play caller. He can't win it. And until he wins the big, I don't care if it's Brock Purdy. I don't care if it's Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't care when he was the offensive coordinator for Atlanta when he had Matt Ryan. Lost the Super Bowl when he was the offensive coordinator. Lost 2 Super Bowls. Yes, Jimmy Garoppolo, if he hit Emmanuel Sanders in the touchdown, but he didn't hit him. Yes, it was 4th and 6 with 4th and goal with 6 yards to go, and he kicked the field goal, took the ball out of Brock Purdy's hand, kicked the ball off to a Patrick Mahomes, and the rest is history. Doesn't mean that he doesn't have what it takes to do it, but you gotta do it. Because if you don't do it, I will say this about a coach: the same reason why they hire you will be the same reason why they fire you. Yeah, man, we hired him because of his play calling ability, his ability to get the best out of his players. Why'd you fire him? I don't really like his play calling for real. I don't think they don't got to switch it up, especially when you got George Kittle, Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, even though he's hurt, Ricky Pearsall, even though he's hurt. It's like you got a bunch of players. And I get it, the injury bug is there, but if you don't get it done, it's going to be like, well, man, because the same energy you had, Justin, when they hired him, you're like, I don't know, dude. Because I'm starting to think that maybe the best he is making it to the Super Bowl, not winning it. I don't know. We'll see.
Andy Reid in Philly. You were good until you weren't. Once you weren't good and you didn't come out with a championship after all those years, they started going, man, this guy ain't never going to get there.
Yeah. I mean, it's sometimes it is the environment, sometimes it is the location, but that's why we love it, right? And a place like San Francisco, that's tradition rich. I mean, you go way back with San Francisco. Most teams ain't got no tradition. I played for the Titans. They ain't got no tradition. You take teams like Houston Texans, they ain't got no tradition. The Detroit Lions, they ain't got no tradition. The Arizona Cardinals, they ain't got no. The Cleveland Browns, it's a lot of teams. San Francisco used to be a candlestick. Now they at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. You know what I'm saying? I remember when they moved to Santa Clara and them San Franciscans, they was heated. What? We going to where?
I was one of them. I was one of them, man.
Yeah.
Freaking A, dude. The stick was one of my favorite spots ever. And I got to see the last game at the Candlestick Park against the Atlanta Falcons and got the whole shirt and everything. I still got it somewhere. But it was so fun, and you're absolutely right. There's a standard, is what we used to call a standard. We had the gold standard, but it's true. It's a standard that you live up to when you've had success, and I've just never seen that as a fan. I'm like, oh my God, '94 was the only year, and I was only months old at that time. But anyways, we're talking about all the NFL. It's a perfect transition point to what happened in the NFL this past week. Denver and Kansas City was the big one. Ben, I want to ask you this. Have you ever seen, were you around to see a team that was so good just collapse? Like, have one of those years that were just so, like, uncharacteristic of them. Because Kansas City right now is having that year. This year has been very uncharacteristic. The offense at times stalls out. The defense has looked old, and that makes sense because the engine of this defense, Chris Jones, has oftentimes looked old. He's looked like he's getting pushed around, like they're getting ran on in this game, and it's just like, how is that happening? You've got Big 93 clogging up the middle, or you should.
Well, I will say this. One of my favorite movie series is Batman, because it's something Alfred told Bruce when he said, "Well, you're gonna live long enough to go from the hero to the villain. Right now, you the hero. You're gonna keep doing it. And that's the thing about Kansas City is they peaked so early. When you talk about Andy Reid, when you talk about Patrick Mahomes, when you talk about Travis Kelce, when you talk about Chris Jones, but the NFL is gonna catch up. It's not that they aren't great players. It's just you getting older. Like those things that Patrick Mahomes is the only quarterback that get to throw back across his body, do no look passes behind the back. And that stuff is cool as long as you win it. He did in the Super Bowl. What happened? Pick six. Threw back across his body, Cooper touchdown, right? If that's any other quarterback, people go crazy. There are certain quarterbacks that get the benefit of the doubt. Josh Allen is one of them. Patrick Mahomes is definitely one of them. Joe Burrow, when he's not hurt, he's one of them. Depends on who you talk to. Justin Herbert to get it. Jared Goff might get it. Matthew Stafford might get it. Lamar Jackson might get it. Right now, there are no more benefits of the doubts. Last year, in 2024, a lot of those games they won were one-score games. They blocking field goals. They winning them. They losing them all this year. See, the same thing that happened in 2024, you losing this year. They could have lost last year. And we've grown so accustomed to see Kansas City win, it's hard to see them losing. Like, they lose. Like Denver is freaking 9-2. Like, Denver is, like, really good. And Denver has caught up to Kansas City because they go, the way we win might not be pretty, but we win it. We ain't lost for 2 games. Kansas City, Travis Kelce breaking records, and it don't matter. Travis Kelce and Chris Jones and those guys, they get to sit back and say, "Hey, man, we was here for the glory years, but glory ain't forever. It ain't forever." And either you want your legacy to stay intact and you're going to walk away from the game, because if you keep playing, I'm going to keep saying that Michael Jordan played for the Wizards. I mean, it was for 1 year, but he played. We're going to judge you every year you step out there as a pro. I don't know how the season is for Kansas City, Justin, but right now, they don't look like they're good enough to beat, to run away with the score or come back on guys, because Patrick Mahomes, ain't nobody saying it, but the way he used to improvise, it ain't working no more. I mean, he just be throwing the ball up sometimes. Sometimes, like, dude, what kind of throw was that? And he's earned some clout with what he's done. But you can't live off who you used to be, brother. You got to live off who you are. And I think for them right now, they're just not good enough they used to just line up and beat you. They can't do that no more. And, hey, man, it happens to the best. It happens to the best. You muted.
I was just saying thank you to Tanisha and thank you to Mr. Eric. But yeah, no, 100%. And I used to get a lot of shit for this for being a hater, and rightfully so. They beat my Niners twice in the Super Bowl, but I've never seen Patrick Mahomes not have the benefit of the doubt especially when it comes to offense, because everybody's always like, "Oh, well, their offense isn't as great as it was before." I'm just like, dude, they still have Travis Kelce. They still have a ton of like outside weapons. I mean, how
Yep.
long did they have McCole Hardman and freaking was it Marquez Valdez-Scantling,
Yeah.
Burners? They
Appreciate
had
right there.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
They always had they always built this offense around being a track team. And for the first time, their defense isn't able to bail them out of games. And they're having to go to the offense and say, hey, we need to be dependable every time we go down the field. And they haven't been, because defenses are getting better at shell coveraging Xavier Worthy and taking him completely out of the game. Like, when you don't have that element, which he has been in the past, he was last year, but if you notice it, this year he's completely out of it. Like,
Yeah.
for some reason, he has
He's
not been
fast. He's really, really fast. And most of the time, guys like Tyreek Hill, they fast, but they ain't elusive. They ain't route runner. Tyreek Hill is all that. He's fast, he's explosive, he's quick, he's in and out of breaks. Xavier Worthy got to realize, we know what you are going. We know what you are, you know what I'm saying, getting vertical. How are you horizontal? How are you coming in and out of breaks? You can't run a go route every route. You got to be able to run a slant. You got to be able to run a dig. You got to be able to run a corner. You got to be able to run a comeback. Because when you can run the full route tree and you can come out of breaks, now you a bad boy. But right now, outside of running the fastest 40 that we've ever seen, sometimes we forget you out there. And you can't win like that. 4-2, 4-2-1, or whatever it was is incredible if we can use it. If we can't use it, I mean, you like a Ferrari that need a tune-up. Yeah, you fast, but dude, I mean, you won't even crank up. He's like, I mean, he's smoking. We'll take it to the shop. So and that's the thing about Kansas City is, and once again, they don't lack weapons. I think the reason why Kansas City is losing for these two reasons. They're no longer dominant, and they no longer intimidate people. Because it used to be, dude, they used to scare people to just walking on the field. They used to scare these other teams. I think now people respect Patrick Mahomes. They respect Andy Reid. They respect Travis Kelce. They respect Chris Jones. But the oldest players can't be the best players. Not no more.
Mm-hmm.
I need the young players to step up. And I know they got Trent McDuffie and all these guys. I know Isaiah Pacheco and those guys is like hurt, but ain't nobody finna feel sorry for Kansas City. Kansas City was beating up on everybody in the league. Now the league is just getting some get back, especially that AFC West. They getting a lot of get, because Patrick Mahomes used to dominate. The way he didn't lose to them guys. And if he did lose to them, but just to be like, okay, yeah, we're gonna let y'all get a win. But hey man, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix, sorry, Raiders. I mean, Geno Smith will AKA blame it on me. We'll blame it on you, Geno, because y'all ain't doing nothing over there with Raiders right now.
Man, I've never been so happy to see Aiden O'Connell on a practice field. Geno needs to just take a week, bro. Just take a week, get a Mai Tai or something like that. Chill out, bro. Blame it on me. Let somebody blame it on somebody else for the week, man. It's Shador week. Let him go out there and show Tom Brady what he missed. But anyways, I think we should just get to what we were watching this week, because the NFL was kind of a little bit uneventful last week. Last week was like the weird week where it's kind of like low scores, guys you didn't even think of were there. So, let's skip these rest of these games and let's get to what we are watching this week in the NCAA.
Don't worry, Ben. No weddings here. I just want to know what college game to watch this week.
And what we are watching this week is, we're going to get some USC Oregon. We're getting a Pac-10 revival game, baby. I fucking love it. Great game. Two great young quarterbacks here. We got Dante versus Jaden. USC still can't find a defense, but they got a hell of a high-scoring offense. And Oregon still seems to be a total package threat with Dan Lanning. Give me your synopsis of this game. How do you think it's going to go? And give me a prediction, maybe even a score prediction if you got one.
I like what you said about Oregon being they just like a better. They're a better coach team right now, and they're a better team top to bottom. USC, SC. I know my partner Marvin is here. Listen to this. SC got a quarterback. Problem is, SC is going to have a good quarterback under Lincoln Riley. He's not going to not have a good quarterback. Problem is, what the defense at? Oregon, if you don't got a good defense, they will run up the score on you. I like Lincoln Riley. I like Dan Lanning, but I'm going to go with the Oregon Ducks only because SC is a good team, but once again, they're very, very shaky. Like, they don't scare anybody. They talented. But I think Oregon is always playing for a different level of supremacy because Oregon right now is a big brand that can't win the big one. That's Oregon, a.k.a. the home of Nike, Field Night. They got 100 different uniform variations. They can wear a different uniform every game for the next 10 years. Problem is, they can't beat good teams or they lose to the best team in the national championship. That has been the moniker of a team like Oregon. But I do got Oregon winning. I know SC gonna make a game of it, but I just think Dan Lanning, who is a very, very underrated coach, gonna find a way to tell Lincoln Riley, look, I know you no longer know Oklahoma. I know you out there in SC, in Pasadena. But we play football over here with Oregon as well. Give me the Ducks. Give me the Ducks. Give me 35-21 Oregon.
I love it. Being an SC fan growing up, it's a far cry from those Pete Carroll defensive days. I still don't understand how Lincoln Riley is, I think, into almost year 4 or 5 and still has just not figured out how to play defense. Just go out and find yourself a good coordinator, dude. Come on, dude. I don't get it. But I totally agree with you. Oregon's got to have this game in the bag. SC just gives up too many points to bad teams. Imagine what they're going to do against a good team.
Yeah.
Next up, we got 22 Pitt versus one of my fucking low-key favorite teams, number 16, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, man, they are a strong team overall. And, I don't know how close Georgia Tech's campus is to you or if you feel anything for Georgia Tech.
Far.
But it's not far. Oh, There you go. But this kid, Haynes King, man, he may never actually make it in the NFL, but he is a hell of a freaking story. Just an absolute stud when running the ball. How are you feeling about this Pittsburgh versus Georgia Tech game?
I mean, I got Georgia Tech winning as long as the real Georgia Tech show up. Georgia Tech came out this year. Head coach Brent Key, as world beaters, those guys was playing out of their mind, but then they started losing games. They started losing the teams that they shouldn't have lost to. And now what you've done for a Pittsburgh team is let them know, hey, man, you guys can bleed, huh? Oh, so you guys are good, not great. Oh, you guys got some kinks in the armor. I got Georgia Tech winning, but Georgia Tech, real similar to like SC, what we was just talking about. Dude, why are you losing to teams you're losing to bad teams and you're giving up too many points? I'm looking at box scores. I'm saying, wait a minute. Is Georgia Tech losing? Georgia Tech got to show that, hey, man, we want the teams in the ACC to be able to, still go out there and play some good football. Pitt is not the type of team that's going to just walk away quietly into the night. But I got Georgia Tech. Give me Georgia Tech around, I'll say like 28, 21, closer than that I feel good about saying. But I do got Georgia Tech winning. But if they play around, which Georgia Tech has been known to do, Opina come to the ATL and walk away with a dub if Georgia Tech come out playing.
Yeah, Pitt's got an exciting young quarterback, too. He took over for Eli Holstein midway through the season and has just absolutely been slinging it. But I have to agree with you. I think I'm going to go Georgia Tech. They're low-key my favorite team, like I said, right now. And then finally, we're going to finish it up with some Florida, baby. Florida versus Tennessee. Do you think the upset's available? Tennessee, I don't know, man. They're good, but they're just never gonna be.
Yeah.
They're the SC of the SEC, right? They play so much offense, they forget to play defense.
Man, Tennessee hasn't beat Florida at home in a long time. They ain't beat Florida at Florida in a long time. I want to say the last time they beat Florida at home was 2003. That was my senior year, by the way. That's the last time I think they beat us at home. I will say this. I don't think it's going to be an upset, but I think Tennessee should be nervous because Florida ain't got nothing. I mean, Florida, look, man, we ain't going to make a bowl game. We ain't got but a couple of games left in the season. We got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Let DJ Lagwell, whoever going to be under center, go out there and, like, let it loose. If Coach Heupel in Tennessee comes to Florida and lose, that's going to be a long flight back to Knoxville. Here's why. Joe Milton was talking trash a couple of years ago. I know he's a Dallas Cowboy quarterback right now saying, hey, I'm going to go to Florida. I'm going to win. You did. Florida and Tennessee at Florida has done some crazy stuff. I mean, we done seen by Hail Marys, we done seen late game heroics, we done seen missed field goals, all in favor of Florida. I don't think Tennessee is going to come in and let something stupid happen. But here's the thing. Florida played well against Ole Miss. They just lost. Florida had 5 interceptions against LSU, and they lost by 10. Florida was still competitive against Miami. They just lost. Florida was competitive against Georgia. They just lost. Now, Florida was competitive against Texas A&M. They just lost. So it's not like they're just laying down. If Tennessee want to come out there and act stupid, and Florida wins, I wouldn't be surprised. But even though the worst orange in college football is that sherbet orange known as Tennessee orange, I don't think the boys from Knoxville going to I think Tennessee comes out with the win, but I think Florida makes it very interesting.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually gonna disagree with you this one. I think Florida's got the upset in them on this one. I mean, Florida's been pulling upsets all season long. Why not one more just for the boys at home to spice it up for Lane Kiffin? Say, Lane, this is what you're getting when you come to Florida. We're gonna spice it up for you. DJ Lagway, Jordan Baugh. I think that they can pull it out. And Tennessee
I'm
is,
not
like
saying
I
they
said,
can't, and I hope they do. Oh my God, I would laugh so hard.
you would be loving it. You would
Oh
be
yeah,
loving
man.
it.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
Tennessee really is like SC of the SEC because they just are all offense. They are all gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
But let's get our NFL picks in.
You all are terrible. Even the boys from No Weddings in the Fall didn't pick you to win.
Let's go. And let's get it started with Kansas City at Indianapolis. We were just talking about Kansas City kind of sloping off. Indianapolis is on the other side of that. They are really trending up. How do you feel about Indy versus KC at KC?
I like Indy. I like Indy for two words. Jonathan Taylor. I think Jonathan Taylor is right now he's my front runner for the MVP and what he's doing. I like the way Daniel Jones has been playing him, and Michael Pittman Jr. And you talk about Warren, you talk about Downs and those guys, and Indy got a defense. Indy just added what's this guy's name? Sauce Gardner. So they're going to be able to shut down one side of the field. They talk about a defensive line that can get after it. I just think Indy is trending up, and I think Kansas City might be kind of feeling sorry for themselves. Kansas City is always a better team at home, but I'm going to go with them boys from Indianapolis. Give me Indy to get back to their winning ways.
Yeah, we were just talking about Xavier Worthy. Going to be another game for him taking off with Sauce Gardner guarding him. There ain't no way he's getting any action in that one. I think I have to agree with this one. I want to go with KC.
Yeah.
My biggest issue, though, is KC just does not look like KC right now. I've been going with them the past couple of weeks thinking the turnaround's coming, the turnaround's coming. What if the turnaround's not coming?
Yep.
What if this is the season the Chargers and the Broncos just say, fuck it, you're going to be out of the playoffs this year?
Yep.
And next up, we got – hell yeah. I mean, I said hell yeah because out of that primal fan in me, I'm like, next up, we got Minnesota. We got Green Bay. Legendary rivalry. Green Bay leads the series 66-63. Not 3, 60-3. And then Minnesota swept them last year. This is obviously at the Minnesota of last year. Quarterback is very different. But also Green Bay might be without Josh Jacobs, did not practice this week. Who you got in this one? Seems like it's going to be a defensive struggle.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a defensive game, but if it's a defensive game, I still trust Green Bay. Micah Parsons is still. I mean, people can say, "Man, I don't want to hear about. I don't want to hear about what he does with the run. You better deal with him in the passing game." And J.J. McCartney. I mean, I don't know if he's seeing goals. I don't know what's going on with him right now. I got Minnesota beat writers talking trash to Chris Carter because Chris Carter saying, "I don't know what." There's two JJs that are going in the wrong direction. J.J. McCartney is not friends right now and on the good side of A1 Justin Jefferson. He's like, dude, what are you doing? So because J.J. is kind of iffy, and I know that Green Bay going to send that pass rush at you, give me Green Bay. I think it's going to be a better game because when you got, familiar foes and division guys that know each other like J.J. McCartney, I don't know, his rhythm just ain't there right now. I'm going to go with them boys from Green Bay.
So have you ever been with a quarterback and like you just had something off with them? Like the rhythm, he's throwing the ball a little too high. Maybe he's burying it in the ground. He's not hitting you in stride. How do you deal with that? How do you approach that guy and go, "Hey, man, we need to figure some out"? Are you asking for extra practice time at the end? Maybe some startup time? Like, how are you approaching that?
Well, the last thing I'm gonna do is get in his ear and tell him, "Man, you got to play better." I'm gonna just go encourage him. Yes, I'm gonna try to get some extra routes in because I got to let him know he can still depend on me because sometimes when the quarterback not playing well, it's from the neck up. It's not like he's lost his ability. Sometimes it's one throw, it's one play, it's one series, it's one drive. I want to make sure that he can depend on me because quarterbacks making good throws, I got to be able to catch the football. Because receivers get down when they drop the ball, quarterbacks get down when they make a bad throw, make a bad read, may have a bad series. For JJ, he's a guy right now that can go out there and get it done, but he's nothing without his offensive line. He's nothing without the play calls, and he's nothing. But you got Jordan Addison, you got T.J. Hockenson, you got Justin Jefferson. So it ain't like you lacking weapons. You got to give him the rock. Start throwing it. Don't throw in the places where the other team is standing there and not your teammates. But man, just encourage them. Go out there and sometimes getting back to basics. Football is about doing the little things which become big things on Sunday. Just get back to the routine, dominate the process, and hopefully you get to show and improve yourself on Sunday.
Fair enough. Yeah, it seems like they just need to get a little bit, like you said, a little bit of that back to a rhythm type of thing because
yes.
That
Get the ball to
team,
Aaron Jones. Run the football with Aaron Jones. Let it open up for the pass.
And Kevin O'Connell is such a reliable guy. He's going to get them back in rhythm.
Yeah.
Let's get up with Pittsburgh and Chicago next. Chicago has been kind of like this sneaky team coming out of nowhere. Nobody really backs Caleb Williams. Caleb's been showing it off with his arm and his legs these past couple of weeks. And Pittsburgh kind of in limbo right now. Is Aaron Rodgers going to play? Will we see Mason Rudolph? How big of a difference does that make for you, Ben, seeing what Mason Rudolph did last week in not really garbage time, but kind of like second half against Cincinnati? How do you like this game? How do you think it plays out?
I think Mason Rudolph. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to do all he can to try to get in the game. But if he does play, he's not going to be healthy. And you already know that defensive line, those defensive players, that defense for Chicago, they're going to be swiping at whatever his ailment is. I think is his wrist. Mason Rudolph proved to be a valuable backup. He's going to go out there and be a game manager. The problem is, it ain't Mason Rudolph. It's DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf has looked okay. He ain't looked great. I mean, sometimes you forget he's in the game. If Darnell Washington catch a pass, beware of Darnell Washington if you are Chicago. If you let him get going, it's going to be ugly. Whether you're a DB, whether you're a linebacker, whether you're a D lineman, whether you're a DN, whether you're a safety, look out because that's a big man running at you. But I got Chicago winning because I just think Chicago is just more of a complete team. Caleb Williams has been good, not great, but he's not turning the football over. He's buying what Ben Johnson is selling. They're winning games. They're still competitive right now in the NFC North. That's still going. That Green Bay going to be there. The Detroit going to be there. But I just think that Chicago is just a better orchestrated team right now. I don't know what color fingernails Caleb Williams is going to have on Sunday. I think they was lime green last Sunday. He paints his fingernails. That's what he does. I mean, hey, man, Listen, man, you like it, I love it. Go out there and get it done. But I got Chi-Town sticking with their winning ways. Not because, one, I think Pittsburgh is coming in wounded. DK Metcalf, he's not really giving you a return on investment right now. Jalen Ramsey, man, so much respect for you, sir. I would have knocked Jamar. Anyway, that's another conversation for another day, but give me Chicago. And when Mike Tomlin was asked, what advice would you give to somebody who has been spit on? He said, I have no words, and whatever comes natural. Yes, I have no advice. Whatever comes natural, which means you spit on me, whatever happened to you, may God get me off you. Because, boy, I'm trying to tell you, we don't play those games.
100%. And big props to the NFL for fucking catching that and doing the right thing, because we had a spit incident, obviously, to begin the season.
Yes.
And that ain't cool in any situation in life. I said it earlier on. I said, I don't care how big you are. If you spit in my direction or you spit on me, we are throwing motherfucking hands. That is just how it happens. But you know, it's just unacceptable. But to what you were saying about Darnell Washington, I looked it up. That man is 311 pounds. That man is just all fucking monster. He's just, when you see him going down the sidelines and he's just carrying people, you're just like, this is the guy who would have been like on a horseback. He would have been a warlord at some point. He was meant to conquer something, being 6'8", 311 pounds. But anyways, let's get on to Philly and Dallas. A legendary rivalry here. Philly coming off of a win over Detroit where they shut down that Detroit offense. And then you got Dallas coming off of a beatdown of the Raiders. Early word is Dak has a hip injury. How do you think this is going to affect it? I mean, they've got home field advantage, which is good against Philly. But at the same time, if your quarterback's not doing good, it's going to be an issue. So how do you see this game playing out?
I see this being a better game than people give it credit for this reason. I know that Dak is going to come in limping a little bit, but George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, you're going to have to deal with them dudes. And here's the thing about Philadelphia. Philadelphia's defense is lights out. I mean, you talk about Quinyon Mitchell, you talk about Cooper DeJean, you talk about the addition of, Jalen Phillips to go along with the Kobe Dean and Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, and the list goes, and Nolan Smith. The problem with Philly ain't the defense, it's the offense. It's Jalen Hurts. It's A.J. Brown, who had to go talk to the freaking owner to say, stop talking about the offense. Devonta Smith and Goddard and those guys. If Philadelphia's offense come playing around and they ain't scoring points, because Dallas is going to score points. They're going to score at least 20-something points, I believe. If Philly can't keep pace and the tush push can't help you, and Saquon Barkley is being neutralized, which he's kind of been all year, he's kind of looked regular all year, I can see Dallas coming out with a win. Because guess what? First game of the year, which you don't know what your team is, Dallas was in that game. Dallas could have easily won the first time. So I think it's going to, once again, division foes, they don't like each other. Dak is a really, really good quarterback when he's healthy. I know he's going to come in limping a little bit, but if Philadelphia Eagles offense don't come to play, you're gonna look up and say, wait a minute, Dallas beat Philly? Yeah. And they beat them convincingly, because Jalen Hurts can say he don't care about the criticism about the offense, but he better get the ball to A.J. Brown or get some offense going, because Dallas offense is high power. It's high power.
Yeah, and I think it was really telling that, Amon-Ra St. Brown got shut down by Quinyon Mitchell. But on the other side, nobody was shutting down J-Mo. J-Mo was eating.
Eating, yes.
And George Pickens, he's going to do the exact same. He's going to come in with more confidence than ever coming off that Raider game. He legitimately looked like a problem. And he looked like somebody you wanted to sign. Jerry Jones wanted to get a contract to him right then and there. Sign, because we want
George
this.
George I'll wait till the end of the year. That way I can see how my numbers really look. Because right now, I think the only person in the league that got more receiving yards than him is Jackson. I think Smith Enigma. I think he's the only one. Jackson Smith Enigma out there with Seattle is the only one. So, hey, if you are smart, he signed a 1-year deal. He's saying, listen, man, I know y'all already paid CeeDee Lamb, and I know that Howie Roseman, the GM for Philly, is the one that know how to maneuver them numbers. Y'all better do something, because I'm going to need my money. And Dez Bryant, please stop giving George Pickens discount, saying, "Hey man, I know you want your money, but you might have to take a discount." Did you take a discount when you got your money? No. So if listen, I want a discount when I'm trying to get a tune up on my car, or I'm trying to get some groceries. I don't get no discount when it comes to my money. I need all of it. The money that folds and the change. I need it all.
100%, and he freaking deserves it this year. He's been on
Yes.
freaking
Always.
fire, man.
Yes.
I mean, listen, you don't take a discount after a season like this. If they ain't gonna pay you in Dallas, you go somewhere else. You go find yourself a new home somewhere else. Because I legitimately think this year with CD Lamb has made his route running and everything else click to a level where he actually could be a number one anywhere else.
Yes.
Let's finish it up with Tampa and St. Louis, or not St. Louis, Los Angeles. I'm just so used to the Rams being in St. Louis. I'll never get used to the Chargers not being in San Diego and the Rams not being in St. Louis. But Tampa and the Rams, how are you looking at this game? Another exciting game for Baker Mayfield, but at the same time, we were seeing more and more that Baker needs more help. Like whether it be on the defensive side or whether it be another weapon on the offensive side, he's just not getting help. But this week he's got Bucky coming back. He's hopefully got Godwin coming back. He practiced, but we're not sure. He's practiced in the past and he's been down with the fibula injury. So what do you think going into this game? So let's say he gets Bucky back and let's say he gets Godwin back. How are you predicting this game?
I'm still going to go with the Rams for two reasons. One, I think Matthew Stafford, the way he's playing at 37 years old, he's easily an MVP candidate right now. And two, when East Coast teams got to go to the West Coast, that's not good. When they got to go cross country, that's not good for a team like Tampa. Tampa is always going to be in it by the way Baker Mayfield plays, but Baker Mayfield be putting his body at risk. And Emeka Egbuka, I think he's a really, really good rookie. Him and Ted McMillan up there, with Carolina. But Bucky just getting back. So he got to work the kinks out. Chris Godwin been gone so long, you forget that Chris Godwin is a freaking buck. It's like he always gets hurt at some point of the season. It's always good to have that level of continuity and consistency back. But football can only be played when football is played. I know what you're doing in practice, but ain't nobody hitting you in practice, Bucky. Ain't nobody hitting you in practice, Godwin. They gonna smack you on Sunday. And while it's good to add those type of weapons back, they gotta knock the dust off. Give me the Rams, because while I like the Bucks and the Bucks are coming off an ugly loss against the Bills, I think this year's MVP candidate, even though Josh Allen took his cape off on Sunday, you better watch out. If people keep saying that what George Pickens is to the Dallas Cowboys, that's what Puka Nacua is to the Rams. Play with him if you want to. He'll be the walk out there with 15 catches. Puka is the reason why. What's his name? Puka's the reason why Cooper Kupp is a Seattle Seahawks right now. So I got the Rams. There's something about them. Listen, East Coast teams don't do well on the West Coast, just like hot weather teams don't do well in the cold in the playoffs. Give me the West Coast Rams.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I think I have to go with the Rams too. I can't imagine that Jared Verse doesn't get like 2 sacks in this game. Like that dude is insane.
Yeah.
And he is gonna put the pressure on Baker. Listen, this Bucks team is finding ways to get shit done. Last week, Sean Tucker had an amazing game, but the reality is sinking in that even on your best day, if you don't got a defense, you're not going to get very far. I think the Bucks are starting to realize that, and at the wrong time, Carolina is coming up from the depths to nip at the Bucks' position in the division. So it is going to be a hard stretch for the Bucks getting into the playoffs. I still think they'll do it, but I just don't think this game is going to be beneficial for them. But anyways, guys, it has been a great day, and it's been a great, no weddings in the fall. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, do everything you can because we want to do more for you. Everything you do for us is just a little bit, and it helps us a lot. But, guys, we have a tradition here and it's time for Ben's Scuttle.
And now to football scores with the boys from No Weddings in the Fall with the Week on Repeat.
Like I said, it's just one of those days. I'm going to hit it now, Ben. I'm going to get out of here.
I don't know about you, but I'm ready for Ben Troupe's Skadoop of the Week.
What up, my good people? As you can see, I am Ben Troupe. You saw Justin. We don't have the commissioner this week, but we appreciate you guys taking the time every week. To hop on, with No Weddings in the Fall. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I just want to go ahead and get this out because everybody else has. Jamar Chase spit on Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Carter spit on Dak Prescott. Jalen Carter didn't deny it after the game, but Jamar Chase did deny it after the game. I'm going to say this. We can see you because we got cameras. The next player, whether it's high school, middle school, Pop Warner, UFL, XFL, AFL, NFL, to spit on somebody, do not hold him. Let him beat the brakes off the person that spit on him. Why? Because a person that spits on somebody, you deserve to happen. Whatever happens to you, and nobody should pull that person off of you because you getting beat down for two reasons. One, because you spit on me, and two, I want the person who's even thinking about spitting on somebody to see what could and actually did happen to you. We don't do that kind of stuff, man. We don't do that. That's a level of disrespect that's hard to describe. But anyway, I am being true. This is No Weddings in the Fall, and I'm gone.